Hi friend, Dr. Isla Fishburne of Kachina Canine here for a channeling with the animal people, consciousness of our animal friends, seeing what they wish to bring forward in our journey of soul, of sacred, of dropping from that challenging thinking mind into the sacred mind, where our animals and all of life, the stones, the plants, the trees, the stars, the wind, the waters, all of life live, and where they ask us to step back onto the path, that path of sacred, the path of knowing. So the way that I channel, if you've never seen me channel before, is I will put my bandana over my eyes because it helps me come completely out of my thinking mind, where I'm not in a room or I'm not seeing myself as a human or whatever labels and words that we're using, and just in this space of connection. I will take a few moments to connect, and I'll see what wishes to come through. So all I ask for you is if I can have your heart and your ears, and allow your own soul, the ears of your body, or the ear of your body, the ear of your soul, to receive and be bathed in these words. Let us see where we go to, hey? Are we understand that your heart grieves? We understand that your body crumbles in all of the grief that the human can experience and the human can carry. It is like a weighted jacket that is being worn as you enter water. Wearing a weighted jacket as you enter water will weigh you down and drown you. It can be said that you are drowning in grief. It is not a weighted jacket that must be worn in the waters of grief, the flooding of grief. It is a life jacket. Even in turbulent waters, even in deep waters where your feet may not touch the ground, wearing a life jacket keeps you afloat in the waters. The waters of grief, and the waters that come to carry your grief. The waters ask, give your grief to them. There is a need here, a request to afloat in the waters of grief, that it may feel challenging. It may feel like you will be in this water for the rest of your life, but that you can float on it, you can sail on it. That the A grief is not here to drown you. The grief is not here to work against you. The grief is here to guide you. When you sail upon it, without a navigation, the grief knows exactly where to navigate you to. The grief knows the waves of sorrow, the waters of sorrow carried in your body. And the grief asks that you allow the waters of grief to carry you to this destination. There is a space to be had where the grief is to have its own private consultation with you. The grief is supposed to have days out with you. Your own days out, your own weekend away, as it were, with your personal grief, with your grief that is carried. But the grief also has places to go. The grief has an objective to bring you to. And so, like a child that is supposed to grow and move out, leave the home, the grief has a message that it is supposed to move out and leave your home, leave your body. There is so much fear held, not in the grief as such, but the fear of forgetting if the grief is allowed to move out. A fear of not caring. If the grief is allowed to move out, almost a sense of punishment that for the love of another, or for how the grief comes, as a way to acknowledge it, as a way to remember what happened. The grief is stored, is collected, is hoarded. It can be said that you are a hoarder of grief. You are a hoarder of grief. How immense does that sound? How does that feel for you, contemplating a hoarder of grief? Hoarding is no good for anyone, hoarding is no good. In the expanded state that you are, a being of earth, hoarding is no good for the earth, but the hoarding of your grief is no good for you and no good for the grief that you are hoarding, you are holding. And so this is a clearing out. Maybe it is one box at a time. Maybe it is one item at a time. Maybe it is everything. That is for you to explore. We cannot tell you. We cannot make you no longer hoard your grief. But we do bring this message to you that hoarding your grief does not allow the grief to do what it comes as navigator for you. We have already shared that when grief comes, it is to have days out with you. It is to be looked at, to be felt, to be heard, to be loved. And it is to be carried away, washed away, and for the grief to carry you, for you to float on the water of grief, and it navigate you. This navigation of grief is for you to love. It is said that the grief felt, certainly when a loved one is no longer in their body, the grief felt is from the love that is felt. And in some way that, of course, is true. But the grief is more than that. The grief as a presence, as an omnipresence, is more than what you allow. It is not just from the love of another, but it leads you to love yourself just as much as you loved another. It leads you to love yourself in all the experiences that have happened to you that bring about this grief. This is its compass, this is its navigation, this is its north. The grief asks you to navigate, to it to follow the compass of grief, and it navigates you to love, the compass of the self, where you are navigating to, guided by your own compass, and in the grief, guided by the compass of grief, to the shores of love, to reach the shore of love for yourself, of love for yourself. Follow the waves of grief to reach this shore. And allow your compass to align with the compass of grief that is complete love of yourself, complete love of yourself. And then hear that compass close, for the love has landed. For you have returned to complete love, to complete love, to complete love. May you receive well with that channeling, all that it brings to you, for you, how it unravels over the spaces as we walk this landscape in this body. Thank you for sitting with that message. Thank you to the consciousness of our animal friends. Until the next one, thank you for being with me, and for us, many blessings.